hearing from Kibitz is that guys aren't hitting him hard even when he doesn't have his number one stuff. But what's he done to be able to do that? I guess those just get fast.
How are the wind blowing out today? We saw Anthony Rendon take it out.
Academic part of the equation for student athletes at Rice. Coach Graham thinks that plays a big role in the freshmen trying to adjust. And once you get used to how tough it is academically and the finals week, which is really a big deal here on the Rice campus, there is a ball hit by Chargois to center, an easy play for Martinez, and one pitch, it's the second out. For Rendon to be up for his fourth time and not have a walk or a base hit.
Give these Memphis pitchers credit, even on that first pitch from Farley, tagging the inside corner. He's located those pitches very well so far.
Good pitch there.
Yep.
Rendon taking it and seeing the count even up at 1-1. That's a good pitch to make against Rendon in that situation. You don't get the strike, but I think that's the location and the pitch he wanted. There's a strike called. He looks good on this. Just his approach on facing Rendon.
Well, that pitch again right across the inside corner. And Rendon is a confident hitter. He's walked far more than he struck out. But now he's down to maybe getting that one good pitch, even if he gets one.
Well, not unlike yesterday, Memphis out hitting the Rice Owls, almost doubling the total today of Rice in the hit column. They lead it by 2 runs as well. And this Rice pitching staff has been worked and worked and worked because the Memphis hitters won't give them any kind of break.
Yeah, 15 hits as you just saw today, 12 in their extra inning victory yesterday. And even in a 10-6 loss, 10 hits Friday night.
Here's Philip Chapman, the catcher for Memphis. Looks at a called strike. Tyler Duffy still in relief for the Owls. And there's another strike called, 0-2. If the Owls want to stay in this game and try to make a comeback, they're going to have to limit or not allow any more runs to be scored.
You would think the way Tyler Farley is throwing.
Check swing, look down the first, and yes, he did go around, says the first base umpire Mark Lewis. So a strikeout starts the 8th inning for Memphis.
This important too for Rice. Tyler Duffy seems to maybe get into a little bit of a groove. Good strikeout of Chapman. That Rice bullpen is pretty thin. I see Tony Zingrani standing out there, no throwing yet. But Wayne Graham would like to wait if he ever has to go to Zingrani. Would like to wait as long as possible after he went 2 2/3 yesterday afternoon.
So here is Robbie Graham. He swings through that pitch and falls behind 0-1. The Owls need Duffy to get at least into the 9th inning. And then hope they can get some sort of action on the bases.
All of Rice's runs just in 1 inning. That was in the 4th.
And it's unbelievable that strike makes the count 0-2 to think about the whole 4th inning situation for starting pitcher Clayton Gant. That is, it's like the number 13. You know, you don't have the 13th floor in a lot of buildings. Gant needs to see if they can change the games to no 4th innings.
Well, he came out in the 5th. And much like Ben Paulus did yesterday, Tyler Farley has just done a wonderful job. If this Memphis pitching staff can pitch as well, not just against Houston next weekend, but in the Conference USA tournament, they have the great defense, they have the great hitting. They're a tough out in the Conference USA tournament in a few weeks.
Well, there's the 3rd consecutive strikeout for Tyler Duffy as he gets Graham swinging there. And all of a sudden, Tyler Duffy has found his pitch location.
It's all about location, right? And how many times have we said that today? Dozens of times. Now that Duffy is able to locate both pitchers around the corners, even on a breaking ball low like that, now Memphis has to decrease their patience a little at the plate.
There's a ball hit out to center field. Fuda on the run and will get there to make the catch. And Tyler Duffy in the 8th inning gets what the Rice Owls so desperately needed, a 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts, a part of that. They head to the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing Memphis by 2, 6-4 here at Reckling Park. Here are today's Geico difference makers. For the Rice Owls, it's Keenan Cook, the leadoff batter, and for Memphis, Robbie Graham.
Yeah, you know, we couldn't say Memphis is the difference maker because everyone, it seems, in the batting order has made a difference for the Memphis Tigers today. Robbie Graham is a great, great story. He's been banged up often in his career, fighting through a knee injury, may have to have surgery after the season is done, but playing through the pain in his senior year, and yet still so effective at the plate with his 2 runs batted in. And Keenan Cook has done all he can to try to get Rice on the scoreboard. He hasn't scored a run today, but with 3 singles.
So Rattery 2 for 3 with a double and a single today. He's behind in the count 0-1 here to Farley. Thinks about that pitch, but holds back, and the count evens up at 1-1. Crowd trying to get their home standing Rice Owls in this game here in the 8th, trailing by 2. Farley misses low and away here.
He came in, did Farley in the 5th. This is his 3rd full inning of work, averaging just around 2 innings in appearance coming in.
Ground ball up the middle, play for the always steady Ethan Gross, and there's the first out of the 8th inning. Owls are seeing the outs checked off the board, 5 left for them to try to get back in this ball game.
Farley did go 5 innings in getting the victory against Southern Miss back on April the 9th. His only loss of the season came in 3 innings of work, giving up 4 runs to Marshall. He also has a 4-inning appearance against UAB.
Here's Craig Manuel, and you see those wearing the bunny ears behind home plate. Their tribute to him. The strike called, starts him at 0-1. Single in the 4th inning. 1 for 3 in the game, 3 for 6 in the series. High and tight with a fastball. Those bunny ears, you could see him there on the screen. I would say not the most masculine of representations of an athlete.
It just means he's fast, right? It's about his speed.
It's a ball hard to center, but a play for Martinez. He was played in position perfectly there and only had to make a couple of steps to his right. I thought maybe we had a player named Steve Martin on the Rice Owls team. Swing and a miss, a hard fastball to Holscher. Holscher trying to tie the game up with 1 swing in the bat, even with nobody on base. That's how hard he was swinging.
Maybe Craig Manuel knows how to play the banjo.
That could be it. There's a strike called. Holscher now in a 0-2 hole. Farley seems like he's getting a little more velocity on his fastball here later in the game.
That, and I don't know how relaxed these Rice hitters are at the plate, because that was a pitch that probably Holscher should have swung at. And even Rendon last inning, not the best at bat for him in striking out.
That's a pitch you expect to see up 0-2, way low and away on the hitter. Starting it off even outside the strike zone, hoping they're leaning out over the plate.
Once again, a veteran Memphis team, and an awfully good one. 5 juniors, 2 seniors in their batting order.
Did he go? Yeah, he went around on that one. Had to then run out, try to find the ball in the air, and get it in his eyesight before he could finally get a good beat on it. Just not able to make it. Had he not been charging in, that's an easy play for an out.
I love the aggressive play, though, at the plate by Memphis. That's what Darren Schoenrock loves to do. We've already mentioned how many times he'll send runners on the base paths. Memphis, one of the conference leaders in steals, coming in with 54. Being aggressive at the plate in the top of the 10th. Wilson had shown bunt. Nothing doing at second base.
The Owls are convinced that they're going to bunt these runners over. And that's probably a very likely scenario, but Memphis is certainly would not say that they're holding on that position firmly. I mean, they've been very aggressive and have made some interesting moves throughout this game.
Well, it makes sense just with this situation, but even added to that, top of the order due up in Drew Martinez, followed by the nation's leading hitter in Chad Zerker. This is where, with such a tense moment, so much time in between pitches, in between any action on the field. Memphis looking to even the series and force the rubber game tomorrow afternoon. That bunt fouled back. Now, what happens with a count of 0-2?
Well, I think you've still got to try to bunt the runners over. You've got to get them in scoring position. You want to not have the double play as an opportunity here. But it all depends on how much confidence Coach Schoenrock has in his batter to lay the bunt down.
There he is, Coach Rock, graduate of Tennessee Tech in 1984, 7th year as head coach of the Tigers. 26-22 coming in. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. He did show bunt. You mentioned you thought that's what would happen, but he takes the pitch for strike 3.
Well, it changes your mental game completely when you've got 2 strikes up there. You're so afraid of that 3rd strike, and that's what happened there. He just got caught up in the thought process of this is strike 3. If I go after it and don't get it, even if I foul it off, it's an out. And that's what makes it troublesome when you're trying to bunt with 2 strikes. Even a foul ball is an out.
Drew Martinez is a tremendous bunter, not just to move runners over, but just to get on base. A speedster, batting from the left side. And much like we've seen so often today, not just with Martinez, but the man on deck and Zerker. They are tough outs at the play. They have fought off a number of pitches in this game.
Yeah, I've been very impressed throughout the game with Memphis's approach at the plate. They take their time, they're patient, they wait for their pitch, they force the pitchers to throw a lot of pitches and go deep in the count. And that certainly was a factor in the starter Matthew Reckling not going as deep as you might hope he would if you're the Owls.
Could be 2, but Rattery bobbles the ball and no play anywhere. Bases loaded for Memphis and still just 1 out.
Well, that's a situation right there where Rattery was thinking about the double play and then made a decision late to probably go to first. Well, no, he just never got the handle on it. He was thinking about the double play and probably got in his head a little too much.
Like in football, when a receiver turns his head before making the catch, looked like that's what happened there with Rattery, turning his head towards second before the ball was in his glove. Perhaps that would have ended the inning if it was a double play. And now the nation's leading hitter at the plate. Chad Zerker's reached base 3 times. High chop, Hulsher, play to first, not in time, and Memphis takes the lead. Zach Willis scores, and the Tigers with the 4-3 edge.
Now you keep the inning going. If you give up just the 1 run, you feel somewhat comfortable about your opportunity to get that run back at the bottom of the 9th if you're the Rice Owls. Now, though, you're nervous about the situation with the bases loaded and still opportunity to keep batting.
I think that was really his only play. He knew he had the speedster Martinez going to second, but Zerker with good speed of his own. Bases remain loaded for Jacob Wilson, and a base hit to left. Gross to score. Martinez will hold at third, and for the first time today, a team, or actually Memphis for the second time today, leads by 2. Their 2-run lead back at 5-3.
Well, and that's exactly what happens. You get in that situation, you start pitching and playing more defensively, and you can't be as aggressive as you might like as the pitcher because you've got just the 1 out on the board and bases loaded. Memphis taking full advantage of all these opportunities here in the 9th.
Wasn't really a bad pitch.
10th, I should say, sorry.
Wasn't really a bad pitch, a breaking ball low, but Wilson able to take it to left. So we talked about the top of the order for Memphis. And Drew Martinez, of course, reaching on the air, but now consecutive singles for Zerker and Wilson. Here's the cleanup hitter and Rich. 0-1 the count.
And you see a whole different approach at the plate right now by these Memphis hitters.
That run by Ethan Gross, the 3rd run for him in this game alone. Came in with just 10 runs scored all year.
Unusual batting stance at the plate. Rich with that front foot almost outside. It is outside the batter's box.
Strike in the corner to make it 0-2.
And then he pulls it back in as the pitch is delivered.
Memphis holds on and wins this game. It'd be Tony Zangrani to get the loss. It'd just be a 2nd loss of the year.